This is the plaintiff, Kathleen Bikert. She says she owns a daycare service, took care of the defendant's wonderful kids, and is owed money the defendant simply refuses to pay. She even went as far as making a false report to the authorities, which could have really ruined her reputation and her business. Not nice. Simply not nice. She's suing for $1,628, the amount she's owed. This is the defendant, Jamie Parrow. She says the plaintiff's out of her mind, runs a terrible daycare business, and was in violation of 3 separate things when her children were in her care. Oh, her money. Ha! She's accused of not caring.
Okay, Kathleen Bikert, you are suing on behalf of the daycare that you own. You've asked us not to mention the name of the daycare. You are suing one of the parents, Jamie Parrow, for $1,628 in court costs as well as 1 month prepaid penalty because she canceled on you without notice. All right, let me hear from you first, Ms. Bikert. What happened here?
Yes. Approximately a few months before before she had come to me for this time, she had called me and had inquired about daycare services. She came over twice and with her children, and she said to me, oh, I love it, this is great, I love how the kids interact, this is wonderful, I'm gonna give my daycare that I'm in now notice. So I'll start either this Monday or the following Monday.
How old are the children?
4 years old and 18 months.
Both girls?
Yes.
So she did, and everything went well.
Heads up, they're gonna be the best of friends or they'll kill each other. There's nothing in between.
Oh, they're adorable. They're
Okay.
really adorable, the 2 girls.
So that was months earlier and that didn't come to fruition.
No, she never called me back to say that they weren't coming. So I was bothered by that because
But not too bothered, because when she shows up many months later, you take her on as a client.
Yes, yes.
What day did she sign your contract?
It was in July that she signed it. She was starting.
May I have the original
Yes.
contract?
Yes.
Now, the kids were there for how long? 1 week?
1 week.
5 days.
Now, I'm asking you now, Ms. Parrow, how did that week go?
Monday was fine, and then throughout the week, it just seemed like there was things that I didn't like, that I
Like
didn't.
what?
On Tuesday, she had her laptop up with Craigslist, because her and her husband buy and sell things on Craigslist, texting while she's talking to me. Like, I don't think either of those things should be in the daycare area. And then Wednesday, I asked my daughter what she did, and she said she ate cheese balls and played all day. I was under the impression that it was structured.
Okay.
That they did crafts every day, they had circle time, not just playtime eating cheese balls. I did,
I mean, you know, she's 4, you know? A 4-year-old might describe her day as cheese balls and playing because it's like, whoa, the perfect day, right? You know, like, did you ever ask her, what did you guys do?
I did about the food, and she corrected it right away.
Okay.
And then my biggest problem was Friday, which would be the 5th, the last day of daycare. I walk into the daycare. I'm under the impression that it's her daycare, that she's going to be watching my children. I get there on Friday. She's not there. It's her husband's and her husband's sister, which is a woman unknown to me. I was very uncomfortable. And then while I was sitting there observing the 40 minutes, a little girl hit my big girl on the head.
How?
With a toy. She just went over and hit her on the head. It was like a 15-month-old.
You know,
It's a
maliciously
15-month-old.
I'm sorry.
It's a 15-month.
So it can't, all right, I got it.
Right.
Got it.
And neither of the daycare providers acknowledged anything. They didn't even see it. They had like their backs turned. So I went over to Kathleen's husband and I was like, this little girl just hit my daughter. You didn't even notice. And he's like, oh, you know, she's a kid, you know, whatever. And then
And what did he say exactly?
She's 15
She's a
months.
kid or whatever? That's
She's
what
15 months old. You know, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Probably.
Okay.
And as I was leaving, after 40 minutes of sitting there, my daughter chased me to the door, and I was already outside on the other side, so I could see her, but she can't see me. And she banged her head into the door. She fell to the ground, and she's crying. And I'm like, okay, I'm ready to leave for work. Like, I'm gonna have to sit there another 20 minutes, a half hour if I get her. And then as I'm going through this, I'm like, why aren't they picking her up? I guess it was probably like a minute before Paul's sister came over to pick up Nicolette.
Okay, and you're watching this minute how?
on the other side of the
Of a glass door?
Yeah, and I'm like looking, and I'm like, I'm already late for work. I'm gonna be that
So you
much.
stood there for 1 minute while your daughter was on the other side of the glass crying?
Yeah, because I'm like, why aren't they picking her up? Like, I don't
I
understand.
know, that's why I might go in and pick up my daughter. I'm having a little bit of difficulty with that.
I know.
I
Unfortunately,
if you're late and you're leaving and you have to keep walking, but you're still going to be late. You're
'cause
just
I'm
as
like,
late because you're standing there staring.
The daycare area is so small. I'm just like, I don't
Are you
understand.
sure it was a minute?
It had to be, because I'm going through all these thoughts in my head.
So at that point, now she's not there. So what did you do?
I
Went to work.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you call her?
No.
Why not?
I don't know.
Okay. And then what happened?
I told my husband that as soon as he gets out of work, I want them picked up because I don't want them at that daycare anymore.
Okay, so you got him to do the dirty work.
I did. Unfortunately, I work late. Like, we were down a girl. I know, it was just a bad day.
Okay.
And
what did you end up doing? Putting them back in the daycare they were at?
yes.
Okay. Now,
And then later
husband
to my
comes. I'll be right back with you. Husband comes to pick up the children at the end of the first week.
Right.
And husband tells you what?
Thank you.
We were outside in the yard playing with all of the kids, and
How many kids do you have there?
it depends on the day, between 3 and 6. It just depends on the day.
Total 6?
6, yeah. So he came, got the diaper bag, got the stuff, and he said, "Is that all of their stuff?" I said, "Yeah, I think so." But I mean, I wasn't thinking anything at that point. And then he said to me, "Okay, and I'm going to get the girls together." He goes, "I have a little bit of bad news for you." I said, "Oh, what?" And he said, "The girls, this is their last day. They won't be coming back on Monday."
Did he say why?
So I said, "Why? Why? Was there a problem?" And he said, "No." He said the other daycare provider that they used to go to called hysterically crying, and she was all upset that she had had them since they were newborns, and why didn't we come
I
back?
gotta tell you, your girls have to be something special, okay?
They really are.
They
though.
must be.
So can the plaintiff let the husband, the sister take care of the kids, or does the plaintiff have to do it herself?
No, the plaintiff have to do it herself. She's a professional. Those other people are not.
Fair enough, ma'am.
No, they don't have to.
They can give it to the
If the plaintiff has to take care of him.
so the plaintiff has to care for him,
Yeah.
can't delegate it to anybody.
Right.
What do you do if, even if you have to go to the bathroom? I mean, aren't there some exceptions to this?
Yeah, I think they should have just been there the whole time and just watching them and handling them.
Fair enough. Got your point. Going inside the courtroom.
What I want to know is, did the girls end up back at the daycare?
Yes.
Now, at that point, she had paid what?
1 week.
1 week. And according to you, what did you pay?
$375.
Okay, so there's no dispute about how much was paid.
Right.
Okay, so now you contact her and you tell her what?
I called her. I left her 2 voicemails saying hi, and very nice, and just saying, "Look, I'm sorry that the girls are going to the other daycare. I'm sorry it didn't work out for you, but you do have a contract and you owe me for that." And she didn't return my calls. Then she finally text messaged me back and said, "I didn't pull the kids out of the daycare because of the other daycare. I pulled them out because I didn't feel that they were safe." And I have to tell you, honestly, her daughter,
Where were you on Friday?
I was upstairs. My youngest son is mentally retarded, so and Paul, who's my husband, is completely legal and allowed to be
He's
there.
a substitute.
He's a substitute,
Okay.
correct. Everything is
And
completely
the contract
legal.
you signed says that you acknowledge that at some times there may be a substitute. You know
Yes.
that, right?
I've never gotten a copy of the contract.
Oh, honey, how do you sign something and not get a copy of it?
My neighbors recommended the daycare, and they were, I know.
But you're not suggesting that you're not as bound by something you sign and choose not to take a
No,
copy of,
I
right?
agree with you completely.
All right, so go on.
I said, "Jamie, all week long," I'm texting her. I said, "All week long, you were singing my praises. I mean, Thursday, your
Do you have
daughter's-"
texts from during that week?
Yes. I have all
Okay,
of them.
show me all the texts you have. Do
Okay.
you have any texts or emails or anything else to show? See, here's what's going on, Ms. Parra. Invariably, these contracts will say, you have to give me 2 weeks' notice, at least, if not more. This one, 2 weeks is scratched out and says 4 weeks' notice, right? And then you signed that. So the only way you can get out of your legal obligation is to prove to me that your children were really unsafe, as opposed to that you're looking for reasons to weasel out. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
The other daycare is begging. You're saying, oh, so what if the other daycare had this wrong or that wrong? Look how much they love my children. I don't disagree that it might have been the wisest mothering decision you've ever made to move them. We want our children to be just abundantly loved. And if this other daycare worker had, was this flipped out of her missing them, and that may be lovely. That has nothing to do with whether you breached a contract. So I know that you ended up calling the child care council and making a complaint. Tell me about that.
I called on Monday. I just wanted to, I guess I had a bad gut.
Is that after you get the text from her saying you owe me a month?
Yeah.
Okay. So it wasn't on Friday when you left your child there.
Right.
You didn't take your child when you felt it was so unsafe for your child, you actually left and went to work. And what happened with the complaint?
Of course, as with any complaint, as they should do, they do a surprise, and a surprise inspection. They came, the woman came, a state inspector. She walked in, she identified herself, obviously. They went through all my records, they went through the whole
it was deemed
daycare.
Unsubstantiated?
Yes.
Okay, now, you said you had a series of texts. May I see them? I didn't leave because of the old daycare. I left because I didn't feel comfortable at yours. Girl threw toy at my daughter's head, and no one even saw. She ran to the door, chasing me, and they left her there for over a minute before they picked her up. This is unacceptable. You're making things up. Your child was not ignored. I wanted to talk. Then you say, I wanted to talk to you, but I just don't know what to say. I just don't feel comfortable. That's why I pulled them. So how am I supposed to look at her and say, you fraud, you creep, you person who puts children in danger, you don't get any money? When you text to her, I wanted to talk to you, but I don't know what to say. I just don't feel comfortable. I just want to try to work something out with you.
No, but the text is that, like, on Monday, from Monday morning till the afternoon, there were like over 30 texts that she texted me. That's like during daycare hours where she's supposed to be watching the children. So she was just always texting on her phone, and
Texting you about what?
Yelling at me for leaving the daycare and the money that I owe her.
That was the weekend.
Okay, hold on. You mean after the fact?
Right.
Okay. Ms. Parrow, I don't think that you pulled your kids out because you felt that it was unsafe. I think that you pulled your kids out because you felt it was better for your children, which is fine, but sometimes the best decisions we make have a cost, and the cost is not on her, the cost is on you. Number one, you leave the child there anyway, which doesn't sound to me like somebody who really, really thinks that the children are in danger. Number two, you don't make a complaint until she threatens to sue you. Number three, you send a text to her saying, I just didn't feel comfortable, okay? In the future, don't sign a contract like that. You know, if you have a choice, don't. And if you don't have a choice, then do what you said you do in a contract. I can't let you out of it because, just because you want me to. That's not how life works, all right? I find in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of the $1,500 plus the court costs, and that is my verdict.
And so this boils down to a contract case, and step out here. Since you signed that contract, you're responsible for it. So what's your reaction to this outcome here?
I would say next time I'll do my research, and any kind of child care providers, definitely do your research and make sure you know what you're walking into.
You really think they were unsafe over there?
Just, yes.
All right, around the corner, your documents are waiting over there. Okay, so come on in here. Are you satisfied how this finally comes out? Your reputation was on the line here,
Yes,
or was this about money?
No, it was totally my reputation. I've never done it before. I've never had to go after a parent before. And with what she said, I felt I had to because of my reputation.
Well, how do you feel about her going after you like that and trying to nail you?
I think it was vindictive. I think it was vicious, and I can't imagine doing that to somebody. And her kids are adorable, and they were wonderful, and I never had a problem with them.
You'd welcome them back anytime?
No, not so much.
Harvey?
Okay, you need to know, these daycare contracts, just like any other contract, it's negotiable. Even though there's nice form language and all of this stuff, all of it can be changed. So it's all up for grabs. You got to read it, and then you got to negotiate. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.